is happening there? Which side is that bump on? No, Ezzy. Nope. You can come hang out with us. You can come hang out with us. Come on up. Come on up and have fun, but I'm not. I love you. And you can come sit with us. Yes, hello. Yes, hello. How is everyone doing? All right, let's see if we can get everything going here. Esmeralda Marie Rivera, everyone. Can we say hi to Ezzy? Can you say hi to everybody? Say hi. All right, Mama says hi. And she's off. She's off to go to the basement door and scream until I let her in. We are doing welcome everyone on Instagram. Welcome everyone on TikTok. Thank you so much for the hearts on TikTok. And welcome everyone here on YouTube at Ask Ivy the Medium. We are doing my love and relationships show tonight. Thank you so much for being patient. I am running a minute behind. We are going to be diving right into this without announcements tonight because I am running so late. So just make sure, yeah, I probably have enough of that. Just want to make sure I have everything the way I need it here. If I could please get some feedback here on Instagram, if you could let me know that you can hear me and see me all right, that would be greatly appreciated before we go ahead and get started. Same thing here on TikTok. Again, thank you so much for the hearts on TikTok. If you guys could also share this video. So many people going through relationship adjustments right now, relationship change, relationship drama. Come on up, mama, come on up. So I'm sure you know some people who could use this show. Also, if you prefer to book your relationship reading privately, you can always do that up on my website. Just go to Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com and click on love and relationships. So let's see where we are here. Is the volume good? And video good? Okay. Seeing some thumbs up there. Okay. So Instagram looks fine. I'm assuming, Diane, I'll just wait for your heads up. I'm assuming TikTok is fine. It usually is. And YouTube can hear and see me. Thank you so much. All right. So we are good to go. All right, everything looks good. Very good, very good. So like I said, this is the Love and Relationships show. So you guys are going to drop your $10 donation and whatever relationship question you have. This is unlimited tonight. I can't do that all the time, but I can tonight, which means you can ask as many questions about as many relationships as you would like. You can also leave it open-ended, all right? So you could just be like, Crystal Henhawk 8054 just became a member. Thank you so much, Crystal. Welcome. So you guys can also leave it open-ended. So a lot of people are like, well, I don't really have a question. I just want to know what my love life is going to look like. That is a question. Just say, what is my love life going to look like in the future? Okay, but if you are asking about someone specific, do include the first name or at least the initials. And again, if you prefer to do this privately, you know, this ain't it. So you're going to want to go onto the website and book a private love and relationship reading. We are going to skip announcements. Let's just go ahead and get right into it. Diana, ready? I'm going to do my intro and we can get onto this. My hair is making me nuts. I think I left some curls in the back. Hopefully it's not going to show up. Welcome, everyone. I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium, a Taino airwalk. This is my love and relationships show where you drop $10 donation. You can ask any type of question about any relationship. I do ask that you include the first name or at least the initials of whoever it is that you're referring to. And Diana, my beautiful producer, will be taking your questions from TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. If you guys prefer to see your name pop up on the screen, or if you want to look at the time stamps later on once this is published, typically within about 24 hours to rewatch your reading. You can do that here on YouTube at Ask Ivy the Medium. I do want to ask that everyone please give this video a thumbs up before we go ahead and get started. Drop a comment of any kind. It really does help me out in the algorithm. I would especially love to hear where you're tuning in from. Okay, and share this video. Who do we have first? Mackenzie Mooser. Mackenzie wants to know, what does my romantic life look like for April? I heard quiet. There is something going on in the third week, dipping into the first 3 to 4 days of the fourth week. So you know this person. I don't think you've been with this person romantically, but the discussion between the two of you in the past was with the intention of it becoming something romantic. This person may have lighter hair, a bit taller, like pushing 6 foot. I don't know if I want to say muscular, but you know, some people are just lean. Some people just, I hate these people. They just have naturally a high metabolism or something. They're just nice and fit. They don't even really have to work at it. So this person has a nice physique on them, but I do think they go to the gym, okay, as well, just to maintain it. They're very close in age to you. I'm hearing within 2. So this is probably within 2 years. Could it be within 2 months? I suppose. But I think that's more like the birthday may be within like 2 months. And they're about, you know, within 2 years of your age range. Probably 2 years older than you. Yeah, I think this person is interested in getting something started. They may have been watching you for a while. So it's almost this sense of like, you know, I'm gonna watch her and I'm not gonna say anything for a while. I'm gonna wait until I know it's a go, until I know like the door's open, until I know it's the right time or a good time. So if you have any social media accounts, okay, that's probably how that was going. I also think that this person may want to make you believe that, I don't know, like they're just saying hello, or they're just checking in, or it's like, oh, let's kind of catch up, even though you don't really know each other that well. It's like, nobody does that. I assure you. Okay. Nobody does that. If this person is coming around, it's not to say hi because they want to be a buzz. Okay. It's because they're hoping to pick something up romantically. And you seem to be a little bit, I don't know, almost like using it as a therapy session, using it as a friendship, using it as, just be careful for things like trauma dumping. Be careful about discussing your old relationships. Be careful about bringing your ex into every conversation. Be careful for creating a false sense, this illusion of connection with something that isn't even stable enough, you know, to remain in your life long term. This was supposed to be something fun, flirty, airy, a little bit adventurous. You know, I could toy around with this. I mean, I don't know if I want to call it a situationship, but you know, there's nothing wrong with situationship as long as it's not a problem for anyone involved. So this is supposed to be fun. Just make sure you keep it that way. All right, let's move on to another one. Next one up is Anna Teresa 10. Can one of my questions be, what is going to happen in my love life? Okay. Anna Teresa, what is going to happen in Anna's love life? I heard, you know, maybe not too much for a while, but there is activity. So that to me is your relationship guide saying it's not what you want right now. Like you may want something concrete. You may want something like marriage, engagement, you know, locking down a full-blown monogamous scenario. Like you may want that. And that's not what I see happening. But I do see activity for the next 3 months in particular, the next 3 months. So you could find yourself, I see a conveyor belt. You could have a rotation, okay, of characters coming on through. Not clowns, characters. That's good. I'll take it, okay? Characters coming on through. And you're evaluating and you're evaluating and you're evaluating. It kind of reminds me of window shopping. Kind of reminds me of being on a dating app, you know, which is like, that's all it ever really was. It was just sort of like, I don't know, I'm getting kind of a dopamine hit off this. It's like shopping, okay, online or window shopping. You just nope, yep, you know, whatever. It's entertaining. It's an evaluation that you're giving on them, top to tail. How do they dress? How do they talk? How do they walk? How do they think? What is their pattern? Do I get a weird feeling? Does this feel karmic? Because I don't want that. Does this feel soulmate? Because I do. You know, it's sort of like, do they, are they intriguing? Are they holding my attention? Or do they look like every other guy? You know, and then there's a lot of questions here of like, if I did feel something off, what is it? Are they lying? Are they hiding something? Are they presenting one way, but they energetically don't match that? And it's like you're getting faster. You're getting faster. So I think what's happening for the next 3 months is that the universe has you on a bit of a rotation where you're supposed to just allow these people coming into your life to kind of go through on this conveyor belt and critique them accurately. This is possibly a situation where you find yourself talking to a couple people though. And one looks quite a lot smaller than the other. So I don't know if you're into like stocky guys or like bigger guys. And then the other one, like maybe 5'9", and then the other one looks significantly taller. But it's like, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing here. I mean, honestly, it's like, you know, at night when you lay down and you go to sleep, if they were to pop in your head, you'd be like, I don't really like him. I don't really like him. Yet you seem to be engaging quite a lot for somebody who doesn't really like them. Or like, this isn't it. This isn't it. This isn't him. This isn't him. This isn't the one. It's not the one. But then why the engagement? Why the engagement? Well, I do get the sense here to some degree that maybe you just don't want to be alone. So this is filling space, which isn't a crime. Because I think they're doing the same thing. I don't think anybody's serious here. I don't think anyone's like, So, you know, but here's the thing. Then why are we acting like we are? You know, because that's fine. We all meet people and we're like, this isn't going to be a long-term thing. And it's like, that doesn't matter. I'm having a great time. Okay. But this is like a lie. This is like, we're pretending we do think something is here. And that to me has a codependent sort of air about it. It's feeling like loneliness or fear of being alone. So keep it in check. I think it'll be interesting. And that's what the next 3 months looks like. Okay. Just being really honest. But yeah, there's a lot of attraction there. And you are being pursued. 2 people being pursued pretty heavily. All right. We're going to move on to another one. Thank you. And the next one up is Maraid. Maraid said, hi, Ivy. Any messages for me about I'm not laughing at you, Maraid. I'm just laughing because I didn't do lamp time today. My seasonal affective disorder is like out of control. And I had to put like so much makeup on my dark circles. I'm like so tired. If anyone else has seasonal affective disorder, I just want to say, like, you guys, it peaks in the spring, you know? And it's actually like quite dangerous, and we just have to hold on for the ride. I mean, it's almost over, but it's getting real bad. Maraid, sorry. Hi, Ivy. Any messages for me about future romantic relationships? Maraid, future romantic relationships. You have somebody coming in here who looks like he's attached to a computer, and I think it's work related. I don't think this is just like video games or like I am creating things on here for fun. I mean, if he is creating things for fun, I think he's getting paid. Okay, so you seem to be talking to someone who is glued to the computer. This would be someone who, when you go out, is and quite tall or quite a lot taller than you. Yeah, 6'6'1". he doesn't seem very, aggressive or assertive. Like he seems like a gentle giant. This is the kind of person who wouldn't rock the boat. This is the person who, if something crazy was going down, he wouldn't intervene necessarily. He's not going to say anything, but he's very observant. He catches every detail. And I do think that if something disrespectful were to ever happen, I do think that if anyone were to cross a line with him, with you, too close in the vicinity of where you are, he knows when to flip that switch on like a wild animal. And I pity the fool, because there's a big difference between someone who's so pacifistic they'll never step in and someone who knows where that boundary line is. This is not my stuff, and now it is my stuff. He may not start it, but he will throw the last punch. He is very protective over you. I think that he is also protective over words. Like, some people who are neurospicy, okay, maybe a lot of people don't know they're neurospicy. Could this be on the spectrum? I mean, I guess I'm doubting that a little bit more. I can't prescribe a diagnosis, okay? But anyways, neurodivergence, okay? Neurodivergence, a lot of spectrum here. People who are like that don't always know that they are, and are typically very analytical on details on words. I've dated a couple people like this, and I'll say something, they'll be like, but what do you mean? And I'm like, what do you mean? What do I mean? Like, are you messing with me? Why would you even ask that? Like, isn't it blatantly obvious? It's what I just said. They're like, yeah, but what do you mean by that? Or like, what does that mean? Or how did you feel that? Or how did you think that? Or how did you sense that? Or what made you say that? Or what, like they need to know more. They need to know more. They need to know more. And they can't really lock it in. They can't comprehend it fully or fully connect with you until they've gotten answers to those questions. This is probably why you stay silent a lot. You don't seem bothered by it. You seem to be like, okay, here's a little more detail. Okay, here's a little more detail. Here's a little more detail. And then it's like, you got it? He's like, yeah, he's full. Okay. He's also an open book. So this is someone who's very transparent, which also reads as neurodivergent again. Okay, transparent. I'm an open book, which sees what you get. I'm authentic. I'm not hustling. But there seems to be a lot of talk of like exercise, working out, the gym between the two of you as well. I want to say keep your options open for the next 4 months and make sure you just keep getting out there, whether you're walking, you're hiking, you're at the gym, you're involved in some kind of race. Okay. You're around people who are racing. Okay. Things like that. Marathons. Things like that. So I like this. I think you guys are also nature lovers, or like would be going to the water. So you could even like for the first date, like you could be going down to the water. I feel like you've bumped into each other, but I don't feel like you've dated or know each other in that way. Very interesting. Light eyes, brown hair, Caucasian. All right, let's move on to, I guess that was obvious by that. Okay, let's move on to another one. Who is this? Edgar. Edgar says, what message do they have for me regarding my relationship with my family? Today was my Aunt Hilda's funeral, and I talked a little bit with my family members I hadn't seen in years. Okay, so any messages? Okay, it was nice about your family. Family connected to Aunt Hilda. Okay. Are there any messages coming through about Edgar's family? Not really, just that it seems really important that you enjoy these moments because they are inconsistent. They are not necessarily few and far between, but they can feel that way if you look at it wrong. So if you look at it as an opportunity to really honor the connections that were made, the conversations that were had, the time spent together, it can feel good. It can feel fulfilling. It can feel, like meaningful connections. If you look at it as though you want more, or you wish this could happen more frequently, or you don't know, and you want to hold on, or don't know when it will happen again, or when you'll get it back, I think that can take it down, to a lower vibration. I think that if you guys all like were maybe living closer, or if there were more family get-togethers on a regular basis that you could all attend to be in proximity of each other, I think they would all really like that. I think that they're seeing you in a different way, which is really interesting. It's almost like they had more respect for you. I heard reverence, so it could also be that they have like a reverence for your Aunt Hilda. But there was a feeling of respect going on here, okay, with this ceremony and with among, you know, the rest of you. And it was a beautiful thing. It's the type of thing we should bring into every room that we enter with other humans, right? Not just in times like that, or loss, or in a period of grief, right? Or let's all remember to, you know, be here for each other at times. Like, it's like, no, we should all be doing that all the time with one another. So I think what you got to experience was the magic of what humans can be, what your family can be, you know, when they make a decision to own their energy and bring that vibe. There was an appreciation that you guys had, you know, for one another too. Like, at any point, one of us could not be here, or this could always be the last time. I mean, we don't know. Granted, she was older, but we don't know. And so there was a certain reverence for life as well, appreciation of one another. But I think they see you different. It's almost like you look older. I'm not saying you grew a beard per se, but like, I don't know why they're looking at you as different. Like, they may have always seen you as this sort of like rosy cheeked little, you know what I mean? This little kid who was like really smart and kind hearted and, you know, funny, willing to help, a little soft, but they're not seeing you as that. They're seeing you as like this grown man, you know, and they're seeing you as someone successful, and they're seeing you as someone who carried himself with a certain amount of like integrity, character, confidence, a certain power. There's a little oomph going on there. And they were like, huh, you know, Edgar's changed, in a good way, all positive things. But there's a gravitational pull that comes with that, where it's always, they would like to be near you more, you know. I don't really think that equates to effort, but still. Okay. So that's what I'm getting. Interesting. And I'm sorry for your loss. God bless her. She's a cutie. She's watching over you. Let's move on to another one. You want to come up here? Come on up. Come on up, Mama. Come up and say hi. Oh, meow. There she is. Esmeralda Marie Rivera, everybody. Show them your cute parts, not the back part. All right. Vanessa Dempsey says general love reading. Vanessa Dempsey. Can I get a general love reading for Vanessa Dempsey, please? I love you. Vanessa Dempsey. You may be on dating apps or debating on getting on dating apps here. I see 3 in particular, 2 that look unserious, 1 that looks maybe paid for. So there could be an app that you get on that reminds me a little bit more of like, you know, a Match.com or a Professionals Meet. I don't know what's out there right now, but it feels like, get away from the cameras, Ezzy, but it feels like something you may put, I mean, a minimal amount of money. I'm talking $10, $20 on, you know, you're not breaking the bank to do this, but it does seem to be working, where they've basically vetted for you, or they're weeding out the weak links. They're weeding out the bots. Okay. Cause I'm hearing a lot about bots. If you have decided to go on some dating apps and you're like, why is this so rancid? And then like you go out and you're like, this is no better. Yeah, because the same people who are out are on the dating apps, you know, but you are trying to get rid of like robotic people, right? Zombies, weirdos, liars, you know. This more valuable app that screens and does more of the work for you seems to be pairing you with someone who wants a lot of conversation, you know, wants to discuss with you. It's like, where are you going? What are you doing? I think he means in life. It's like, where are you going? What are you doing? You know, did you want someone to come along? Or it's more like, do you want me to come along? Seems a little bit shy. You know, at first he's coming off as very confident, you know, approaching you assertive. Let's lock down a date to get together, this and that and the other. I think green eyes, darker hair, salt and pepper. Salt and pepper here, a little bit here. Bigger up through the chest. Taller, but like thinner legs. Like kind of lanky, like was probably once lanky. But it's getting a little bit of a belly. I work with my hands. I could do construction. I could do electrical. I could do plumbing. I could do walls. I could do drywall. I could do the street. I could do this. I could do a roof. I could fix that window. You want me to fix that door? What's that sound? I can fix that. It's like, I don't think he does this. I think he runs something where he can now hire other people out to do this. Like he is probably a business owner, but it's like, I can fix anything. This is the engineer's mind. I understand how systems fit together. Okay. That's also an intuitive part of the brain. So he also has intuitive intelligence, emotional intelligence. I like him. I think this could be something. I'm just a little unsure about that lack of confidence when it starts to get serious, because it's almost like he goes from being like, you know, this is what it is. Let's do this. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about this. You could talk to him about politics and current events and da-da-da-da-da and, you know, astrology and da-da-da-da-da. He'll even talk about paranormal experiences and some spiritual stuff. But then it's like, once he realizes he has feelings for you, it's sort of like, well, did you want me to come along? And it's like, oh God, don't do that. Don't start shrinking, you know? And I don't know. I think it's going to be a test for you. Like, don't overreach, you know, because you do not want to start this thing off having to stroke his ego and having to reassure him and therapize and be the parent over the relationship or make him feel good. Either he can come toward you feeling like a king who wants a queen, or he can't admit now that he's nothing but a little prince and he's not ready yet and he needs to scamper off. I'm not sure which way this is going to go. But you're giving off queen energy, okay? And that can be intimidating. I do think, though, that this would be worth, I mean, you really need to invest in this until we know. Okay, so you could find yourself talking to a few people. This one stands out as having potential value. He's really cute as a button. All right, we have Danny Ruiz is next. Danny, about my current romantic relationship. Where's the rest of it? Where's the name or the initials and what's the question? Go back to this one, Diana. What do we have next? Ada Murphy. Ada Murphy. For is my relationship with Bill going to grow? Ada Murphy. Bill. A little bit. This is a frustrating one because I could see you getting tied up in this for like 3 years, you know, and then being like, well, it did grow. And then like it didn't grow. And then I said something and then it popped out a little more growth. And then like, I don't know, there was no, you know, there was a dry season and then there was a harvest and then there was nothing. And it's like, all right, well, I think what you're dealing with here is a mirroring effect where you may be willing, if Bill is not growing at the same rate as you, and he's not, and he never will. That's a fact. Okay, you outgrow him constantly. But it's not a huge problem as long as you say, Bill is growing at this rate. He has growth spurts, but it's slow. He's slow. I'm growing at a faster rate consistently. And all I have to do is recognize where Bill is and not be willing to shrink myself. I'm not going to slow my growth rate down. I'm not going to dim my light for him. I'm not going to worry that if I keep growing at this pace, I'll have to leave him behind or that he'll go find someone else. Who cares? The point of life is growth. The point of relationships is growth. So it's like a sin to prevent your growth to keep someone else around. Now, as long as you can keep that in check, I think there is growth happening here in the relationship dynamic. But if you shrink or wait or stall for him, And if he slows down any more than this, because it already ain't good, I don't think there will be growth in the relationship. In order for a relationship to grow, both people have to be growing. And ideally, they would be growing at a similar rate. Okay. And if we don't have two people growing, the relationship implodes. There is no hope for it whatsoever. This is where we have one person parenting over the other one therapizing, trying to force them to come along, overreaching, denying themselves, shrinking themselves, not meeting their own needs, right? Everything deteriorates in their life, not just the relationship. So just be very careful with it. But this relationship has only the potential to grow in the same amount that you and Bill can grow as individuals, if that makes some sense. I think that one of the things you may want to be careful of here is that Bill has periods of time where he plummets. This could be, I don't know why summer keeps coming up. I don't know if he plummets in the summer. I mean, I thought it looked like he was doing all right. I thought he plummeted in the winter, but take it out resonates. He may have periods of time in his life where he plummets. And he may hit, I can't prescribe diagnose, but like a bout of depression or anxiety or lack of self-confidence, or he just wants to be alone and detached a lot. And until you fully understand his cycles, and that when he's in a cycle like that, you may choose to go off and do your own thing. And that may be what his higher mind wants. Okay. Instead of just keeping you around and telling you he wants you around, but like wasting your time. He reminds me of the kind of person who will be like, yeah, let's get together. And then he's like on his phone, or he's distracted, or he's feeling down. And it's like, why did you ask me here? Like, if you don't want to be social today, you don't have to be social. Like, he doesn't know himself. Like, he doesn't know his own limits. It's kind of like you're dealing with a child. It's kind of like you're dealing with a 12-year-old. Not all the time, just when he dips. I don't think you're going to like it. I don't think you're going to like that. So, that could be the point where you're like, yeah, now we break, so we'll see. All right. Thank you for your question. We're going to move on to Danny from TikTok said about my relationship with AM. Okay. So no specific question, just in general. All right. So Danny Rua's relationship with AM. What do I see for it? Not much. I see this person holding back. I see this person is detached. I see this person omitting information, omitting words. This is calculated. This is strategic. This is a decision not to share so that I can hold power. I can hold control. I can maybe even hold it over you. I mean, I don't know exactly what this individual is thinking they're going to do with that, other than feel as though they've kind of got you in such a way where maybe you're wanting it. You know what it reminds me of? Jump for this apple. How high will you leap? Do you want this? It's like, do you want this? And I have you, wanting it. And you're like, I do want it. Can I have it? Can I have it? He's like, no. So what is this information? I think it's information about them. I think this individual is holding back on information about like their schedule, maybe their lifestyle, their thoughts, their feelings, how maybe they feel about you, how they feel about the relationship, situations. It's like, I'm going to hold back, information. That's always a massive red flag, because it is the foundation of larger, higher, worse levels of manipulation. Someone, thank you so much for the tree and the hearts and whatever that beautiful thing just was on TikTok. I love you guys. You're amazing. This is someone who wants to make sure that you don't really know who they are, and it's never excusable. But when I see someone doing it from a place of, because I feel vulnerable, and I need more therapy and I'm working on myself, that's one thing. When I see someone doing it from a place of because I want to control them, because I like the cat and mouse, because I'm getting high, my ego's getting stroked, I'm getting dopamine hits watching them chase me. I know they want me. I know they want more. I know they want this information. They want more energy out of me. You know, it's kind of this gross kink, and I think they know you have it, you know, where it's almost like self-abusive. It's like you want to starve, you know, and then any crumb they drop, it's like, you know, I'm like, you know, today I get fed, and it is a kink. It's typically connected to childhood abuse and neglect. But you know, I can't prescribe or diagnose, but it's a red flag. I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah. All right, let's move on to another one. Edgar said, thanks, Ivy. I did experience those things with my family today. It was different, but good vibes from them. Yeah, it was a beautiful thing, for sure. Yeah, thank you, Edgar. All right, we're going to move on to another one. We'll just keep going, Thank you. Demetrius speaks life. Hey there, Ivy. Hi, Demetrius. Do you see a new love interest coming into my life in the near future? Demetrius, future love. Just a reminder to everyone that you could drop your $10 donation. The directions, Diana, my beautiful producer, is posting them in the comment section here on TikTok and on Instagram, because we aren't able to pin them. If you're here on YouTube, it's in the description above. And so what you guys are going to do is drop your $10 donation and then your question on any type of relationship. So family, friends, lovers. You can also leave it open-ended like Demetrius just did, where he was like, you know, tell me what's coming up in the future. And please do include the first name or the initials of anyone you may be referring to. And if you prefer to do this privately, you can go onto my website, ivyriverapsychicmedium.com, and click on the love and relationship reading. Please give this video a thumbs up. Drop a comment of any kind. It really does help me out in the algorithm, especially letting me know where you're tuning in from. I would love to know. Please do subscribe and share this vid. Thanks, everyone. Demetrius. New love coming in. What's the next one of value? Let's just look at that. You know, I can't even get to it because it's like, who is this? You got somebody coming in like a squirrel, Okay, like I'm back. Like, are you gonna let me in? Are you gonna, you know, are you gonna feed me? Are you gonna, where are you going? What are you doing? Don't you want to talk? Like, don't you want to connect? And it's like, what is going on? Like, I have you looking at this person and being like, almost like seeing them clearly, like that they come from an anxious energy. You know, when I look at a squirrel, I'm always like, yeah, they're cute, but damn, you know, what if you had to have a squirrel as a pet? That's like having a dog, right, on coke. It's like too much. It's too much. You know, I have you looking at this person. It's almost like you're seeing them clearly for the first time, but they're coming out of your past. And so it's like, you know, their nervous energy, their desire, almost like an addiction to attachment, wanting you to be attached, being attached to you, is something you're going to have to say no to. It's something the universe is waiting and watching to see if you're going to be like, that's giving me the ick. Like, I'm not interested in that. You know, it's one thing to be high strung. A lot of people are just high strung. It's another thing to be so needy and desperate and codependent and almost panicking, like you need a hit, like you need your drug, you know, from a lover, that they would take it from anyone. They would take a hit from anyone. It makes you irrelevant in the scheme of things. It makes you, it's so impersonal, you know, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with their addiction. Okay. And people like that could be with a rock. They could be with a pole. They could be with a Anyone will do. Anyone to fill this void will do. And you just seem not offended, not pissed, not angry. You're just like recognizing. And you're like, I send you healing. I wish you well. Damn. You know, and it's like, I dodged a bullet and off you go. Now, when we get into the good stuff and you pass those tests, I'm confident you will, but it may happen like 3 times. The universe is going to allow you to have some new people coming in. I mean, I see 5. I see number 3 being of potential. I don't know if you're into like light eyes, dark skin, but very nice. Very, very tanned, very, maybe you're into like Latinos or like, I don't know if this, maybe they're mixed. I'm hearing Dominican, but I don't know. It's almost like a lighter Dominican, shorter hair, nice full head of hair, but like short, just kind of like a little longer in the front, light eyes, and coming out of the water. Now, I don't know if that's just because all Caribbeans are, that's just my symbol for being Caribbean maybe. But anyways, it could be that you guys are dating on the water, loving the beach. You both love the water. Okay. But it's also symbolic of this person having depth, like a certain amount of intuitive intelligence, a certain amount of emotional intelligence, empathy. So it's not like I'm sensitive to whatever I want and need. It's like, no, I'm not just sensitive to me. I'm empathetic. I've taken sensitivity to the higher vibration. You know, this is a humanitarian. This is a fighter. There's past life connection here. Yeah, you guys may have done this in the past. You tried to, and it was cut short. Huh. A D and an R sound and a long A. What is it? Darius? I would hate to say. I'm not very good with names. But a D-R-A. I don't want to overreach on that, but yeah, in their name, that long A sound. And I think it's important for you to get out. I don't have this happening online. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe in some freakish world, this can happen online, but it's not even ranking as the top 3 ways you guys may come together. So if you're online, whatever, stay online, have fun with it. But Facebook dating in particular, I guess, but it is a possibility here. But I do think that being out, it's almost like you're dancing, you're at a club, merengue, the salsa nights, Spanish music. It's like changing all the time. Heavy like Latino influence, Latin influence, and maybe a back porch with like lights on it, but it's almost like the restaurant and the bar is over here. So go, okay, get out. Super fun. Maraid said, thank you, Ivy. You're very welcome, Maraid. Good luck, Demetris. Good luck, Maraid. We're going to move on to another one. This is for Anna Pekka. Is this just is there a question, or is this just a general reading for what? Come back to that. I need something. You got to give me something here. This is a future love, or I don't know what's going on with whatever. Okay. I need a question. This is a question show. Tiffany from TikTok, $10. Is my business partner the person in my life I should not trust? He has the initials of ER. Should Tiffany be trusting ER? Business partner? Tiffany, ER, business partner. Is this someone to trust? Not always. Okay. So where not to trust this person? Don't trust this person with contracts. Not necessarily between you and them. Of course, between you and them, including between you and them, but mostly their contracts with like other people. So if you guys are working together in any capacity and contracts, verbal, written, okay, any type of contracts are involved, as I'm assuming there will be, but they look larger. They look like, you know, we sign one contract and then we're locked into this for 5 months, or we're locked in for a certain amount of exchange here on this project, right? I would not trust them with contracts. And it's due to hustling. So they may in contracts like lie, to get more. They may also, with you, I would be very careful that they're not doing the same thing, like you're getting undercut in some way, because I heard undercutting a minute ago, which would have to do with like somebody you're actually like in business with. You're supposed to be on the same level, like that's undercutting. Then we have the fine print. Okay, so this person like has things hidden in the fine print that they should be right up at the top, because that shit's about to happen. Okay, so it's like, oh, well, the fine print, like such and such a thing could happen at any time, or tomorrow, or as soon as this thing is signed, that thing is going to happen. Okay, that's a scam. It's dirty business. It's just dirty business. It's not necessarily illegal, but it's dirty business. And sometimes it is illegal. Also, they're sloppy. So this is someone who thinks like they're never going to get caught, or they're sloppy. They don't really watch their back. They don't really watch their tail, their trail. This may be someone who's like entitled, they're privileged, like they've always gotten away with it, so they think they'll always get away with it. And what they may do also is leave spots open in contracts to be taken advantage of. So if this person were to work on any agreements, right, verbal or otherwise, for you guys as a business partnership, thank you for the hearts on TikTok. If they were to do it, they could leave you open and vulnerable, susceptible, okay, to things like falling through. I think that sometimes they do a decent job, and I think there are other areas where they don't. That's how that looks to me. For sure, be careful. Demetris Speaks Life says, thank you, Ivy. You're welcome, Demetris. Thank you. Good luck with everything. Next one up is Nicole Clarkson. Will I have a new love interest anytime soon? Nicole Clarkson. Will there be a new love interest coming in for Nicole? Soup? What kind of soup is this? Does that matter? It's like squash soup? I didn't even know that was a thing. Sweet potato soup, pumpkin soup or something? Squash soup? When do we eat soup? So if you are, let's say you're in a city or you're traveling and you have opportunities to be in these types of environments. You know, it reminds me of New York when like everything's out on the sidewalk. Okay. And so up until it's snowing, you know, sometimes even then, you know, then we're in bubbles or whatever, but it's like, everybody, let me be outside. Let me be on the patio. Okay. Let me be on the street. It feels like you're eating soup and you are talking to what I think is a friend of yours at the table, or maybe a sister, a sibling, maybe. And this person is like on the sidewalk. This person is coming up. This person is like, you're passing this person. This is some situation for a while where you may be interacting with this person on a regular basis out on the streets. This person wants to lock down always the next date, whatever the next conversation, the next opportunity, okay, we could have together to spend some time, and maybe interested in like nature, not necessarily like, oh, do you want to go on a date? You want to go hiking? You're like, hell no, don't take me hiking. Okay. But the truth is you kind of do want to go hiking. Like maybe you don't want to go hiking and you don't want to accept a date that is hiking, but you'd be like, I do kind of want to be just hanging out in nature with this person. Like it feels right. Okay. So there's a lot of outdoor movement. And I think once you guys have sort of established the sort of protocol, okay, that needs to come along with making sure you're coming off as respectable and you want to be treated as such, and you want to have everything in place in regards to the dynamics here where you want to be pursued. You want this person to put in effort, Once we've got all that established, It's like you guys just seem happy to go on little adventures, little excursions, little nonsensical whatevers. You know, I'm feeding the squirrels in the park. I don't care. You know, we're just laying here. It's like I keep seeing Central Park. I don't know if you're going to New York, if you live in New York. But there are like a lot of images here of New York, literal New York City. I think that that could also be connected to them. I think that this is ideal for you because what you really want, whether you fully recognize that or not, is to have someone you could do a whole lot of something with and a whole lot of nothing with. And no matter what we're doing, it's a great time. So it's like, I love this person's company. This person is up for anything. You guys may have like Sagittarius and Gemini, a lot of this stuff in your chart. I get some Leo here, get some Cancer. So it's like all these nice balances of energy. It's just a lot of fun. And I think that ultimately, you know, you may feel like, I don't know if this is it. It feels almost more like a friendship, and that's okay. We'll see what you choose to do with it, okay? But yeah, I'd be getting out there. There's talk of 4 months and there's talk of 7 months. So we could meet at a couple different times here. We're going to move on to another question. Again, you guys drop your $10 donation. It is unlimited tonight. I can't do that all the time, but I can tonight. So you can ask as many questions about as many relationships as you want. Do include the first name or the initials of whoever it is that you're referring to. And if you prefer to do this privately, go onto my website. I work internationally, Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com, and click on the love and relationship reading. Anna Teresa says, do you see any business partners coming into my life? Does JV hold any value? Okay, JV as a business partner for Anna Teresa. Does JV hold any value? JV has a lot of information. I'm just not always sure that they want to share it. So it's like, I'm hoarding this, or you may feel like you're pulling teeth to get it. They may seem very engaged and then not really engaged at all, or like, this is my cutoff point. It reminds me of talking to a lawyer, you know, and it's like, we're talking, and they're like, I don't know about that. You'll have to buy, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm selling you something. And it's like, or I could Google it. So I think know how this person operates. I want to say opportunistic. Is that bad? I think it's business. I don't think it's bad per se, but I do think it's something to be aware of, because some of this information really is like general knowledge, or should be given for free, or given the nature of the conversation or the potential of the relationship, the potential of the business partnership. It should be included. But I also think this person may wonder if you're flighty. I think this person may be a little more reserved with you because they think you will pay more, you will give them a higher cut, you will somehow, I don't know, like reinvest back into them more, which seems weird in this dynamic. I'm just sort of like, what are you thinking? I'm like, why do you think that's what it is? There may not be clear communication between the two of you. Like, here's the nature of what we are. You know, sometimes you start doing with business with people and it's like all over here and all over here. You know, I had this guy who was like, let's have a coffee date and let's talk about this. And let's talk about that. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't, you know what I mean? Once you have a contract, dude, bring me the contract. You know what I mean? Like enough with this. It's all over the place. And so it's like, there could be this almost feeling of like, yeah, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And we're working on this, but you're not working on shit. Like, you're not actually doing anything. You're talking, a lot of talk, there's a lot of chatter, there's a lot of ideas floating around here. But there's this sense of like, who's steering this ship, or who knows exactly what, you know, what we're doing. The problem with him is like, even, or whatever, I mean, what is this? JV? Is that when the problem with this person is that even when they hear it, they don't hear it. Like, they don't lock it in. They don't process it or register it as a fact. It's still like, I'm working from this other place. So you may feel sometimes like this individual's weird, okay, because they are. And it's unproductive in my opinion. But I do think that there are some good aspects, like they have some solid information. The more clearly you can communicate, the better it would be. Okay. Thank you for that. We're going to move on to another one for Edgar. Then I am going to have to take a restroom break. Edgar says, what messages do they have for me regarding my friendship with Elsie? She's a coworker. Elsie. Okay, what's the nature of the relationship with Elsie? So I'm just getting this one psychically, like Spirit's not really coming through saying anything important about it, but I feel like it's just sort of waiting phase. So if Spirit ever gave you a message about it before, like it's still in alignment with that, whatever that would have been. As far as I'm concerned, psychically, I feel like she's very young. She reads as being youthful. She reads as being sort of fun and intelligent. She reads as being playful, but a little naive or immature and very, I heard fragile, but I was going to say more like, innocent? Yeah, innocent. You know, she's not really in this mentality of like, oh, I'm a sexy woman, and like I would like to coerce you, I would like to let me use my feminine wiles on you, like, she's just more like kind of down to earth. I mean, this feels more like a friendship. This would be based, I'm not saying she isn't thinking that way about you, or it wouldn't be coming up. It's not that she isn't thinking that way about you. She isn't going to take that approach. She doesn't take the sexy approach. She would be taking more of like can we have some intellectual humor and banter and observational humor going on here? And can we talk about silly shows and funny things and weird stuff that's happening, at work, and how people are and how we examine that people are, and how do we both see eye to eye about how people are acting. Thank you for the hearts on TikTok. And it's like, you guys do see eye to eye. So I think the best way to connect with her is through conversation about other people, culture, pop culture, funny shows, music. There's got to be a gateway at some point, though, if we want to like roll this into something romantic. Sometimes two very innocent, lighthearted people can just have a moment and they can transfer easily. Other times it is going to take something like a concert or the right song or a moment, a pause, like to shut all that off, to sort of parlay this into more of there's just not a lot of romantic energy going on here. It's there, it's just hidden, it's buried. So all this play on top of it. That's what I'm getting. It's cute. I think it's good. I think it's healthy. I think it's something you should continue to entertain. She really looks up to you, though. I don't know if there's an age gap here, and I may have said that already. She feels so young. I don't even know if that's accurate. I mean, I could just be talking about the energy, between the two of you. You feel so old. She feels so young. Like, you feel so much older. And I think it's got this almost like little like schoolgirl crush on the professor charm to it, even though it seems like in real time everything's reversed. So that's the vibe. That's the energy. And it's cute. Yeah, I like it. I think there's a lot there to work with, for sure. There's a lot of depth, that's for sure. This thing's gonna be like many layers of an onion, okay? Which I think is intriguing, and it's a lot more fun than just people just put it all out there, straight out of the gate. It's like, calm your tits, calm down, slow your roll, you know what I mean? Take a breath, relax. All right, I'm gonna take a quick restroom break. Thank you so much, you guys. Be patient. I don't know where Ezzy went. I went back to bed. Oh, I got this puzzle on TikTok I have to do. Hold on. Oh my God. Okay. Third time's a try. Third time's a charm. All right, let's move on to, where are we? Anna Teresa said, thank you. You're so welcome, Anna. Thank you. All right, next one up is for Susanna Cruz. Susanna Cruz. Hi, Ivy. My current relationship is no bueno, but I'm not looking for anything, of course. But I was wondering in the near future about my love life. Okay. All right. Well, let's get something bueno in here. Susanna Cruz. What decent relationship? What relationship of value is coming in next? Okay. So we have two different things coming up here. The first one being a karmic. The next one being a soulmate. And three peculiar clowns in between, okay, who aren't necessarily bad, but aren't good or worth it, okay, to spend too much time on. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to just bypass this karmic and get to the soulmate, okay? And let's not forget that with soulmates, that's also not a guarantee that it's going to be, you know, something long lasting, or, you know, we don't know. Even with soulmates, we just don't know. They're nicer energy. It's a work contract. It brings in a lot of past life influence and North Node, which is future life possibility, and yeah, teamwork and building. Hi, Mama. But before we can have that, you are going to go through a test, and this is a karmic. Karmic partners can feel identical to soulmates, so be careful when this comes in. They have contracts, they both have cords, they both have past life connection. Okay, so they both cause sort of an addiction to one another. They can both be haunting, you know. So there's a class up on my website for anyone who's listening to this and you're like, I wonder if I have that going on. It's called Karma Contracts and Past Lives. There's another class up on the website called Relationships, Boundaries, and Cord Cutting, where I break down the difference between these two and how to handle it. When we are dating someone where there is a contract, it's going to be powerful. And you can't level jump over, Susanna. So, you know, this karmic coming in, I don't know if this is someone who works like with one of your exes or works in the same field. It's almost like whether it's mechanical, it's engineering, it's mechanical. It feels like this person may work with their hands. They may understand how like systems fit together. They may fix things. You know, there's some similarities. So that's usually something we notice when a karmic partner comes in, is that we're very attracted to them. They're usually very good looking. You could start to pick up on covert or overt narcissistic tendencies straight out of the gate, where you're like, I don't know. That information is switching up, but you're like, you're so cute, you know. Let me just collect these red flags here. You know, you have to pay attention to when they won't answer your questions. Like you ask something very simple and they dance around it, or their stories change. They have patterns of negative consequence behind them, patterns from their past. They usually have a crazy ex. Okay. They tend to be very willing. This person's very willing to help you, very willing to go above and beyond the call of duty, okay, to get things done for you that you didn't even necessarily ask for. You could categorize this as breadcrumbing, I guess. They're just overly helpful. They're overly willing to invest to get that shit locked down before you see who they really are. Watch for this. I have lighter eyes, dark hair, very good looking, very good looking. You just get in and get out of these. Okay. Then after that, we have someone coming in. I keep hearing 5 months as well, 5 months and 9 months. Then you have a soulmate coming in right around the same time. You're probably exiting out of this thing. And it looks like this person is very sort of soft-spoken, traveling the world quite a bit, very much like capable. I can pack, I can clean, I can cook, I do solo travel, I know how to book flights cheaper, I'm first class, or I'm doing this at an economy but in like the best possible way, or I'm doing like, this person just seems to know everything. It's like, how do you know this? How did you know to do that? I don't know. They're very, very crafty. They're very like full of life skills. And you're like, here, take this. Do this for me. And they're like, happily. I mean, they would just like, I was going to anyways, you know? So I like this. A little bit more meat on the bones with this person, bit taller. Again, less talkative, more reserved, but the real deal. Love it. We'll see. It's going to be an interesting year for you. All right. Edgar says, yes, Elsie and I are the same age. We have a lot of similarities, but she's taken, so I'm just working on friendship. Oh, well then, yeah, so you have no choice. Okay. It's funny. I don't know if she read as taken. This didn't even come up. You know, that's not a good sign for her current relationship. The fact that it's like non-existent energetically. There's no contract there. She's not with someone important, but you know, you got to be in your best behavior, of course. Karma, karma, karma. Susanna Cruz said, thank you so much. You're welcome, Susanna. Have fun with it. All right. We're going to move on to another one. Mackenzie Mooser said, is it CD that's stalking me and going to try again in April? In April? Isn't this April? What month is this? March, April? Is CD stalking me and going to try again in April? Looks like it. And June and the end of July. And then they lay low and they pretend like they aren't. They're stalking from afar, and they're stalking energetically, and they're stalking at night through astro travel. Yeah, this is a creeper and a half. This is someone who is very skilled. This is someone who has been creeping, not just you, but like a lifelong creeper. So they do this with people. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to like cut your answer short and just be like, yeah. But yes, it feels like it is this person. It feels like they really believe that they've got you like that. You know what's crazy about this? I'm having a deja vu. So today I put out a video on how women, it's just a meme, you know, but I made a video out of it. And it says, did you guys see this on, you know, TikTok? I think played it on first. I think I got it out everywhere. I know it's on TikTok. It said that women need to be more careful when they're in a relationship with a man who thinks they'll never leave. He thinks, thank you for the hearts on TikTok. You saw this? He thinks he's got you like that. And when I saw that meme, I was like, ding, 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 like a slot machine, like 3 cherries at the casino, because so many of my female clients have no clue that the person they are currently or have been dealing with, whether it's just for a few years, whether they've been married for 25 plus years, whether this is new, they have no clue. I'm talking zero fucking clue that this is how this dude sees them. She'll never leave. I could do anything to her and she'll never, ever leave. They really believe this. They know this. And it's been this phenomenon I've been watching for years with my clients. And that's what I'm getting here, Mackenzie. is that, and this is what I said in the video, that men, because they have been raised up from birth to extract, to subjugate women, that they know that game. And they know how to get women in that position, and they know that women have been beaten down their entire lives. So they probably entered into the relationship and the woman was already submissive to it. They probably didn't even have to do anything. But women don't know that game. Women don't think that way. It's like, I always say there are two kinds of people in the world. You're either hustling or you're getting hustled until you learn. That's the difference. Women don't know that game. They weren't raised up in that game. They were raised up to be the victim of that game. So there are so many, I would say it's the root issue of most relationship problems, is that these men think you will never leave them and they can get away with anything. And they're not wrong a lot of the time. That's what's really sad. So they base that on proof, not necessarily from their own relationships. And certainly he is learning the hard way, but from watching it all around them, all over the world. Okay. And you have a long history of like over explaining yourself to this person when he was deliberately confused. He was deliberately abusive toward you, neglectful toward you. You just kept overreaching and explaining and therapizing and thinking, oh, well, you must have good intentions. Really? Do you think that? He really believed you would never leave. You are part of the new generation of women. Women of all ages, all walks are leaving, figuring it out. You're one of them. So he'll stalk you probably for the rest of his life, as long as his narcissistic wound is going to be there. You know what I mean? He doesn't plan on growing or going to therapy or changing. So that wound, that ego will cause for him to stalk you until he can latch on probably to somebody else or find some healing with that. Yeah. So I'd expect it. Tiffany said from TikTok, this is so true. Women don't even think they're going to be hustled. No. Like the mentality is phenomenal. I put out a video last year on how when men book readings with me, and I've been doing this a long time, when men book readings with me, so often it is to try to get me to help them cheat on their wives, to try to get me to help them get out from getting caught, or they just were caught and they want to know if the side chick, if things are going to work out. He's fixated on her. Now that everything in his world is falling apart, he's fixated on her. Forget his wife. He doesn't even mention his wife. He doesn't care how his wife is doing. He doesn't care that her health is going down the toilet, that she's having a mental breakdown, okay? That he's about to lose all of those kids, that he's about to have to fight you for his house and he's going to go through divorce. He just ruined all these lives. He doesn't give a shit about them. He wants to know if the side chick he was with, if it's going to work out, is she going to start talking to him again? She doesn't want to get tied up in all this. She's gone. And that's all he cares about. And he wants me to help him protect his karma. He wants to know, was my wife cheating? Can I maybe prove that she was cheating too? Trash. I'm telling you. And this is the most common shit I see internationally. For as long as I've been doing this, I've been working with the public for over 15 years. I started giving readings when I was 15. You know how many times I've seen this? This is their mentality. How can I extract? How can I control? How can I take? And then once I'm busted and I'm about to lose everything, how can I get the upper hand there and continue this abuse for me? They don't care about the kids. They don't care about the wife. They don't care. Okay? And what women don't understand is how sociopathic, psychopathic, narcissistic is a kind version. You know, that's a kind word. They don't know how bad this is. And it starts with that meme that I put out today. They think women will never leave them. They could get away with anything. They could do whatever they want. Women will never leave them. Women don't know that. And if women start catching that, That's what I think I titled it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. But the minute you catch that in your partner, run. Yeah. And they will stalk. They'll stalk 10, 20, 30 years. I mean, forever. They'll just do it forever because they're caught in a loop. CJG said, hi, Ivy. My son, GH, is having some major struggles in his teenage years. What can I do to best help him now? Okay, so your son, GH, is having struggles in his teenage years. Well, I feel like one of the things coming up for him is being highly empathic. I have a class up on the website called Empathic Teens. Okay, so I train therapists and doctors. I bring this into universities. I train educators. Empathic Teens is a good one for him. I'm seeing 17 with him as being like a breakthrough year where he starts to, I heard think on his own, but I think it's more like separate his thoughts and feelings from other people, separate my identity from everything that's going on around me, you know, separate my personal space from others' energy. I think he is coming into a place mentally, energetically, where he may feel very good. I can feel very good about myself. It's almost like I know myself now, really. I mean, at the root of it, it is. It's like I know myself now better, but I know myself, and none of this is an extension of me. I can be connected and totally detached from all of this, from all of these people, okay, from everything. And it's like, that's called, you know, being centered. That's where we all need to be in the world. But right now, it feels like his empathic ability is a bit out of control, which means he's, and this peaks for teenagers between 14 and 16. I've done some videos on this. It's a fairly dangerous time. I can't prescribe a diagnosis, but when we have intuitive intelligence increasing due to an empathic increase, 14 to 16, we're talking about psychic, mediumistic, and empathic abilities. It's not just one, you know, empathic ability carries all three. So this is overabsorption of other people's energy. He can hear people's thoughts. He can feel what they're feeling emotionally. He can feel what they're experiencing physically, physical impressions. It's overload is really what it is. So he needs to start controlling it. He is gifted. He gets all of this from you, really. Okay, so you're kind of two peas in a pod. That is hereditary, by the way. I also think that he doesn't see much, I heard, hope in the future, but he's kind of lying about that a little bit. He's sort of like maybe having a naysaying attitude about the condition of the world or the economy or what it would be to, like, you know, go and invest much in a profession. Like, I don't even know that I would be happy doing that. And it's going to cost so much and cause debt. And like, I don't even know that I could take it anywhere or have the kind of life that I want. And I think the truth is he doesn't fully understand what kind of life he wants. I also think that he doesn't really believe that because he's very capable, and he's watching you in your own personal life be very capable to, like, stop looking to the outside world as a resource, not banks, employers, institutions, and be introspective and see self as the resource. So it's like, what in me is untapped? What can I build? How can I network? What can I create? We're talking entrepreneurship, business ownership, independent contracting, consultant work, whatever I want to do. I'm an artist. I'm a creator. You know, I'm going to create. So he's watching you do this, and he's getting this from you, which helps a lot. But he's sometimes lying a little bit about how deep his blues go on that particular topic, because when he gets passionate about something, he's really invested, and he gets high off that, you know. So I think he will find a lot of satisfaction in work. And when you have that kind of drive and you're doing what you really came to earth to do, it's in alignment with your life contract. And for him, I get the engineer's mind, so he understands how systems fit together. You're automatically going to make a lot of money, automatically. Okay. And so I think right now he's in this in-between stage where it's like, my end goals are way over there and I'm way over here, and there's a huge gap in between them. I think he's feeling a little powerless. He may also be going through some things with his sexuality. I don't know, you bring that up. I mean, this is very, let him come to you, you know, if he has something to say about it. I doubt he will. But he's processing some things, and that's okay. I think the best thing you could do is what you've been doing, which is like, I'm supportive. I'm here. I'm bringing you a cup of hot chocolate. Do you want a coffee? Do you want to sit down, have some tea with me? Can we sit? Like, do you just being available, being available. And also, if he plays a lot of video games or he spends a lot of time like up in his room, kind of locked in to some otherworldly thing, you know, don't be shy to be like, we're going to turn this off for a while. You know, he's still under your roof. You can say, okay, spend a few hours. We're turning this off. Come touch grass with me. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to rock the boat. As they get older, we become more and more afraid to rock that boat. Rock that boat. You've got very little time still, okay, to be of influence. Shut that shit off. You know, we're going to go touch grass, whatever. We're going to have a hot chocolate. We're going to go grab some food, you know, and just let him talk. Once he gets talking, he talks quite a lot. All right. Thank you, CJG. Let's move on to another one. This is for Mindy, love and beloved. Mindy says, I've had a near-death experience 8 years ago. Can you share what spirit may want to say tonight about this? I experienced the greatest love connection and peace there, and daily going back into the matrix will never be the same. Okay, so 8 years ago, a near-death experience. Okay, so this is Mindy's relationship to the universe. Does Spirit have anything? Spirit, did you want to say something about this? Not really, just that it's your life contract, that it was your like third eye. It was how you opened your eyes. It's how they got you to open your eyes, how to open your eye. It had to happen in order for you to finish and to fulfill what is within this contract. What is a life contract? A life contract is what you signed on to before you came to Earth. Okay. So within your life contract, so the way I do mine, I focus on the pivotal points. You get 5 to 6 level up opportunities. It matches your Vedic or Western astrology or numerology chart. They're all identical, right? So you need to accomplish what you came to Earth to do in this life. And if you don't, you just sort of reincarnate, you know, and you try over and over and over again. And what this near-death experience did for you was it put you on, I heard, the fast track and the mainstream, okay, within your life contract. So it kind of put you on path. The issues with it have been, though, and I'm just getting all of this psychically for you, the issues with it have been that you are distracted and stalling out and double-minded a lot of the time. So you have a way of being like, yeah, but, you know, you have a way of being like, I know this is the right thing to do, or this is the change I need to make, or this is what I need to pursue, or this is, you know, what I need to leave behind or detox from. And you're like, but, that seems crazy, you know, or that's a different way of behaving than what most people do, or what if this, what if that. So I think what's not working in your favor here is your inability to stay in the fluidity, okay, the speed. What is in motion stays in motion. And it's a law of the universe. We all need to just get in sync with and keep going. And it's almost like until you do, you haven't really started yet. I mean, you're kind of like dipping one toe in the water. And that's where you are still with this, is like, I recognize this is powerful. I recognize my experiences are powerful. I recognize I'm here on Earth to do something powerful. And anyone with a near-death experience is here to do something powerful, typically in the categories of revolution, healing, light work, communications, publishing, okay, influence. But you're not moving yet. Okay, so that's the next step, is to get moving, get off the, it's almost like what Spirit's saying here is almost like if you have a rickety ass, you know, if you got caught up in a storm and now it's leaking, you're just sort of sitting here on the sand and you're like, oh, well, sit in my boat, you know, I think I can repair it. And you're looking at the hole and it's like, can I fill this with something? You know, if I put a few layers of wood over it, it shouldn't be a problem as long as I'm ready to bail out at any time. And there's a freaking yacht right next to you on the bit, like ready to launch. Like, this is your yacht. Like, go, you know, take to sea. But you're like, well, you know, this is all I've known. I don't think you're very comfortable with it yet. But you may want to embrace the magical reasons something like a near-death experience happens for people. You know, do a deep dive into that. Maybe that'll help you to let go a little bit more. Let's move on to CJG. CJG said, "Oh, thank you. This is a feedback on her son." So CJG121 says, "Oh, thank you, Ivy. That was great advice for my son because I was at my wit's end with what to do with him." Yeah, I think he's playing into it a little bit. I mean, I'm not saying he's not feeling it, but some things aren't helping. You know what I mean? Whenever we, again, law of motion, what is in motion stays in motion. If we've got bad habits and we're getting tied up in cycles and we're moving in the right, you know, we're going to stay in that direction. It's about new habit forming. Tiffany from TikTok said, "Do you see any romantic relationships for me in the next 6 months with a good man?" Okay. 6 months for Tiffany. 6 months, anyone decent coming in? I mean, right at the tail end of that, you've got somebody coming in here who's like, I don't know if he goes on the train. The train, assuming you're in America, I mean, it feels like you're in America. This doesn't mean he's in America, but honestly, I think he is. The train, interesting. I mean, Amtrak doesn't run everywhere. I think we're talking about the subway. No, we're talking about the train. You know, I don't know if he's into trains. This person may be coming in. There's discussion on the subway. There's discussion on the train. There's discussion on travel here. There is discussion on like a grandfather coming through in spirit, also connected to the train. Could be something that comes up in an early conversation and you're like, ding, this was predicted. Okay. Yeah, this is him. I'm getting brown hair, but it looks awfully light, okay, in the summer. And he may have been blonde. He may have been blonde as a baby, like white blonde, blonde as a baby. You wouldn't guess that now, but it's something maybe he takes a little pride in. And I don't know why. I don't know why that comes up. That's weird. Did he bring that up? He brought that up? I guess he takes pride in his blonde hair as a baby. Whatever. You know, I think he's a little into himself. This could be a Leo. You know, he's a little full of himself. A little delusional, maybe Aries, you know, like thinks he's bigger than what he is or thinks he's like hotter than what he is. Thinks he's more desired than what he is. But he's very, it's a show. Inside, he's actually quite fragile. Like his self-esteem is a little fragile. So I think what he's doing is like fishing for compliments, or it's almost like I'm fishing to get you to say something. I'm hoping if I show you a baby picture of myself with light hair, or I talk about what I look like as a baby or whatever, you know what I mean? If I talk about this thing that I do or this success that I have or this whatever manly thing I'm pretending to be, I'm hoping I will get a certain kind of reaction out of you. And he's watching very carefully to see your facial expression, your body language, right? You leaning into that, like, tell me more, you know, is that what our babies would look like? Like, I don't know what he expects you to. But anyways, you know, it's like, he really wants you to, and this is where it becomes a little more charming and less like, what's the word I'm looking for? Neurotic. This is where it becomes a little more charming, is that he really does want you to want him. He really does want you to like have a desire and eyes for him and a heart for him more than other people. He may think there are a lot of people competing for you. I don't think he's wrong. But it may rattle him a little bit. He should be rattled. He's going to have to earn it. Okay. Cause you're not screwing around. you'd be happier alone than toying with nonsense. So like he's gonna have to earn it. Thank you for the hearts on TikTok. And I don't think this is a problem. I just think it's a little bit of maybe you identifying, okay, that he is maybe fragile in some areas, needs a lot of reassurance. And you do wonder how he's going to make that play out in the relationship. Will it look like he's nasty with you? You know what I mean? Like competitive with you, neglectful of you to try to get you to chase? Like, what does that equate to? Because when someone, you know, has this, they can either be honorable about it and they can be like, well, I'm going to win her love and affection. I'm going to beat out the competition. That's what I'm going to do. Or they could be a weasel about it and he could be like a little bitch, you know, and he could turn into like a whiny baby. And like, you know, when you're needing him or counting on him or whatever, he's emotionally detached and you can't really predict his moods and he's always switching shit up and you feel like, so he's like, he's got some agenda, you know what I mean? And he's basically like narky. We don't know always with him which way this is going to go because he's had to grow out of some of these lower level tendencies and we can't hold that against him, but the fact that he hasn't completely elevated out of it means it's something you're going to need to monitor a little bit because you're not going to tolerate it ever at all, not even once. I do think that this is someone who sees you as like long-term partner material, spouse material, monogamous material. Like, I don't know though too if you had a cheating situation in the past. I'm not accusing you of anything, but if you've had situations in the past where you've kind of been juggling a few balls, that may be a massive red flag for him. So we're not going to lie about any of that, but we're going to want to be careful with all of that. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. So I see this person coming in. Looks like you would be meeting probably out, even though it does feel like you're connecting online or you're texting or something, you know, before that. This could be business related as well. So it's sort of like, well, let's text and then, you know, we're meeting up real quick. It feels like you're going to some generic kind of restaurant on like a boardwalk or something. And then you kind of have a good time after that. Because maybe you can walk around, you know what I mean? See the town, I don't know, go into the park or something. Like have, you know, you can have a good time. It's interesting. There's a lot of holding back. There's a lot of holding back on his behalf. And it's like, just flow with it, you know, but he's a little rigid. He's a little rigid because of that. I got to get this ego stroked, you know? It's like, oh, okay. That's the agenda for everything. That runs the show, that ego. We'll see, that fragile ego sometimes. But he's got a good heart. We'll see. Hopefully he uses it. All right. Thank you, Tiffany. Tiffany from TikTok said, so women who are empaths are really, really targets for men who want to use women. Well, women of all walks are targets for men due to the patriarchy. Now, I do have an empathic awareness training where I talk about the statistics that we've known since the 90s, that empaths are the highest targeted group for narcissists and sociopaths. That is a fact. But it doesn't, you don't have to be an empathic woman to be targeted by a narcissistic system. And men who feel that they that you're here not as a human, but something to possess and extract from. That's all. That's all. And being empathetic really is nothing to do with the system in that capacity. All women are prey. Yep. And even the good ones. Got to watch them 24/7. They slip constantly. Even the ones who've done a lot of work, they're slipping constantly. It's hard to deprogram. It's hard to retrain your brain. Camilla Carnes is next. Camilla Carnes says, does my spouse know I plan to leave him? And I don't have a name. I don't have initials, but I can just narrow in on that. I can hone in on this, I think. Does he know? Yeah, he knows. He's been denying it, though, for quite a while. 4 months, 6 months, 7, something happened between 7 and 8 months ago, a conversation where you may have said something. You may have said something also like I'm leaving or I'm going to leave. But I think that once you got more quiet about things, this is typically when men know they're about to be left, is when a woman stops over explaining, as you did, when you stopped overreaching, when you stopped trying to communicate with each other, right? When you stopped trying to get him to communicate with you, when you stopped trying to get him to understand what was wrong or what needed to be fixed, when you stopped trying, when you realized it was all bullshit, it was all a scam, it was all a con job, the day you realized it and you got quiet is the day he realized you were ready to leave. And I don't think it's going to negatively affect you. I think keep your mouth shut, keep going. Go at the, you're already moving at a pretty quick rate. Just off like a Band-Aid, keep that speed and make sure all your, I heard avenues are covered or all the back doors are shut or all the doors are locked. This can mean that contracts, security codes, him not having access to anything, moving everything, you dealing with your lawyers and like all the I's are crossed, all the, or all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted, everything is secure. Okay. So it's sort of like watching behind you. It's almost like watch your back, but like he would come in and screw things up. He would happily come in and screw things up, accounts and whatnot. Right. The thing is, he feels pretty powerless here. So your power level is up at like a 10, 11, and he's down at like an 8, a 7, and going down consistently. The further away you get, the more he declines. And that's right where we want things. He's about to hit a 6. So it just keeps going down. You keep doing what you're doing. This is good. Yeah, he knows. He won't say anything. You shouldn't either, obviously. We are going to do last call. All right, so this is last call. That means that anyone who wanted to get a reading tonight needs to do so at this time. Drop your $10 donation, and your question do include the first name or the initials of whoever it is that you're referring to. And Diana, my beautiful producer, is going to be taking those questions from wherever you guys are tuning in from. We've got TikTok over here, Instagram over here, YouTube at Ask Ivy the Medium. Just a reminder that it takes about 24 hours. Sometimes it happens immediately. I don't know why, but it takes about 24 hours here on YouTube at Ask Ivy the Medium for the video to be processed and published, at which time my producer will go in and timestamp all of your readings so you guys can go back anytime and rewatch. But that does not happen on the other platforms, okay? That's only on YouTube. Also, the best way to support me is here on YouTube. So I really hope that you guys do. I appreciate it so much. Edgar has another question. Could I please get a love prediction? A love prediction for Edgar. Edgar in love. I see you talking to someone, and this feels like a 2-year process where you're talking to someone who seems to have left something. So it's like, I'm breaking up with this person didn't put in effort, this person disappointed me, this person lied to me, this person sold me a bag of lies, a bag of tricks instead of a bag of dreams. I thought this was going to be, and they weren't always like that. This person would be saying like they were putting in a lot of effort in the beginning. For like a year, I was conned. I was fooled. I saw effort. I believed it. I fell for it. And I have you listening to all of this, and as the therapist that you are, I have you sort of examining it and being like, not judgmental, but you're a therapist. It's what you do, right? So you're kind of like, is this person healed? Like, should I be dealing with this? Should I be getting involved in this? Is this going to come back to bite me in the ass if I get entangled in this? Because it wasn't long ago. It was like that year they left, months ago, not years ago, months ago they left. And you're examining it and you're just like trying to be an active listener and you're trying to be like engaged, in the date, but you're sort of like, everything's registering therapeutically, okay, clinically. And then it's like you seem to look at her and you see her in a different way, where it's like, she'll be out of here. I mean, she'll go off onto something else. She's doing perfectly fine. She brought it up because it was applicable to what you guys were discussing. And also it was the right time to get it out of the way. Yes, it's a first date, but still, you know, you were talking about your dating history. She had to talk about hers. It was a big turning point in her life, and she's out. She is more than happy to be on her own, or you could maybe engage with her while this small window of availability is open, because she could have other people. So I almost feel like I'm choking. I feel like I'm you. I'm like, I don't know if this makes you nervous. It's almost like a race. It's like a competition. It's like when somebody becomes available, it's like, you know, they could overnight have like a lot of DMs. They could overnight have, you know, sort of a rush of possibilities, potential coming to them. And I think you may worry also that this person would be someone you must compete for. But there's something earthbound about this. There's something earthy in the way that you have a contract with this individual. This is a call you're going to have to make. Okay. Whether or not you pursue it consistently or you back off entirely. I don't know what you're going to choose to do, but that to me feels like a potential relationship that could be worth the investment, and it could go somewhere, because this person doesn't see 50,000 other people. She doesn't want to see one loser cross her path ever again for the rest of her life. Okay. Well into her grave. Like, she's never, ever again. Okay. Never, ever. And that's what a lot of it is. And so she's, you know, kind of really open to you, not concentrated on you. You're going to have to earn that, but like, she's open, you know? So this could be interesting. This could be interesting. She feels short to me. I just have brown hair and short. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, but that could be unfolding over the course of a 2-year period, and it's possible you're meeting this person as soon as 3 months out from now. Summer tables, coffee tables, summer tables. Okay, tables out where people sit and, you know, chat, have a glass of wine out on like a patio or a walkway. Very nice, very nice. Then I'm hearing 9 months could happen. Doesn't happen at 3, could happen at 9. So we'll see. Interesting. Nicole just wants a general love reading. Okay. General love reading for Nicole. I have somebody coming in who I feel just got off the struggle bus, and it's self-deprecating humor. I think it's hilarious. This person may be a Cancer. Cancers have that dry, self-deprecating, and people are like, oh, don't say that about yourself. They're just joking, like, lighten up. You know what I mean? Like, they don't mean it. It's actually a sign of higher self-esteem to be able to joke about yourself. You know what I mean? But it's like, I don't know. I don't know if they said they've been driving the struggle bus, because it's like, you know, a lot of people like to be like, not my circus, not my monkeys. This person's like, you wouldn't believe this shit show that is my life. Like, look at this ridiculous, you know what I mean? I don't know. He's funny. He's hilarious. He's talking about like crazy shit that happens in his life. He's talking about like, you know, how he may have come from some hardship. I think he's exiting. Okay. He's getting ready to exit. There's also some talk of like an EMT. So I don't know if they were an EMT or if they were just sort of in like emergency, you know, situations at some point. This is someone who's very capable of okay, of navigating the world, drama, trauma, crazy people, crazy situations, and just pretty unbothered. This is a talker, and this is a larger individual. I'm assuming you're into men mostly. I mean, it's not that I'm not picking up on women here as well, but like, this is a man. So I don't know, maybe you swing both ways or something, but I'm trying to focus in on this one. You could have multiple people coming through at the same time, and they're not all men. but I feel like this one has some value in it because I think you've been looking for someone unwittingly, but you have been. Your higher mind has been looking for someone who is, I heard, constructive, who is able to build a life, who is not just destructive, where it's like cutting myself down and never good enough for you and I'm a whiny baby and like ruining the relationship because I'm throwing a temper tantrum and they just, it's like, just get out of here. It's like just with the destructive levels of like what you've been used to, you're so over it. It's like you categorize them all as children, rightfully so, because that is childlike, immature baby energy, right? And you're coming through as this like mature adult. So this is a mature ass adult. And I think it's nice also in the way that you guys seem to be up for anything. I would warn you that this person may have OCD and they may have had a near-death experience, which is interesting because this is the second time this came up tonight, but in different capacities. This person may have had a near-death experience or some type of an accident that really put them on the edge. And when people come out of that, they can be a little quirky. It can look like really intense OCD. Yeah. Don't try to, but it doesn't fit into like other categories of like neurodivergence and da 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 da. Like it's its own thing. I don't think it's studied enough, but I've been with a couple people who had this and they were definitely nutty in that they will seem okay. And like, I thought we were going to go have fun and you wanted to do this thing. They may have even suggested this thing. I mean, maybe not that far, but like, they were all about it. And then you're doing it and they're like kind of freaking out a little bit. Like they're shutting down. They're not talking. They want to go do something else. You may have to sometimes tend to this person's, I don't want to say neuroses, but it's almost like tendency to roller coaster, okay, in and out of realities. And it's like, that's okay. It's not a big deal, but it may not fit into any other category. You can't look at like autism. You can't look at neurodivergence. You can't look at like, other triggers. It's this. They are very, very willing to invest if you are. That's the other thing that I really like here. Okay. So if you can offer some reassurance, that you are interested in them in that way, I think that would be great because they may have trouble believing that, which is sort of sad. Yeah. I wouldn't read it as low self-esteem. It's just sort of like, really? You would invest in this mess? And you're like, yeah. He's like, okay, I'm in. It's not with anybody, but with you. This person's actually pretty picky. Pretty picky. And people who, like I said, have those tics and that sort of near-death experience, like they live their life in a very different way. It's almost neurodivergent. Like the triggers are weird and the whole thing. They tend to be very picky about the people that they deal with. So it really is an honor to be able to get in with one of them. Okay, interesting. The heck? What was that? That was a little side journey for you. This is not your normal type. All right. Love and Beloved said, I am writing about my near-death experience. I work in a healing profession, 22 years in nonprofit special education as a therapist. You described me as a lighthouse in the past. The near-death experience has changed my life. Definitely. Amazing. I thank you for sharing your gifts with others. Well, thank you, Love and Beloved. Absolutely. I am so fascinated. I just want to say I'm so excited that you're like writing about this, publishing about this. I hope you do videos. I'll follow you, let me know. But I am so fascinated with it. Like I said, I've been with a couple people, like fairly long relationships for me anyways, who they were some of the most special people I ever met. Yeah, they had died a couple times. And they're very different. You guys think differently. You experience the world very intensely and completely differently than everyone else. And like I said, there just is not enough research on it. There just isn't. And it can look very similar. to other, whether it's like, traumas with the trigger reactions, with ways of thinking, or neurodivergence, or, spectrum thinking and things like this, or even sometimes like mildly, schizophrenic, or the DSM-5, like magical thinking and stuff like this. But it's not the same. It is its own world, and it's a lot of fun. But you guys come here with huge purpose. Huge. CJG is next. There you are. Were you under the couch? Where were you hiding? What's under there? Ezzy just came out of nowhere. She came out of one of the sofas. Hello. Hello. She's probably got a dead bird or something under there. I'm going to have to go look. CJG said, I met someone online named FC. All right, we're going to have to get a new piece of paper here. CJG met FC online. That is a business owner, wants to connect with me in friendship. Is this a legitimate potential connection for friendship? Yeah, I mean, this person seems flighty, inconsistent. How do I say this? Highly engaged, and then the ghosty. I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over and over again here. But it's almost like I'm hearing this from Spirit, and it's like Spirit's trying to make a point. What is the point? Maybe that you don't always see it very clearly, or you don't want to see it very clearly. So you're like, oh, well, they seem maybe a little flighty. And then you're like, oh, well, maybe I'm misreading it, or I don't know them well enough yet, or like I can't make that judgment yet. And then it's like, then you're seeing inconsistency, and you're saying this person's a little inconsistent. And then you're treating it like you're seeing it for the first time. And you're like, yeah, but maybe they have something going on. Perhaps it's their work schedule. Well, we're adults. This is what adulting, looks like. And you're closing your throat chakra down a little bit, which is a big no-no for you. Okay. Either A, you're not speaking your truth, or B, you feel like you were disregarded in some way, and it's shutting down your throat. And then you see that they're very engaged, highly engaged at different times. And then they're ghosty. And every time, that's what Spirit's saying. Every time it comes up, you're acting like you're seeing it for the first time. You're relabeling it. You're switching out the word for it. These are the same. Flighty, inconsistent, engaged, and then ghosty. These are the same. I think you play mind tricks on yourself. I think you're very, very crafty at like navigating around realities based on what you want to see. Okay. And this person is like in your face, showing you how they are, and I think that there could also be some level of interest here in, I can't tell if this is romantic. It feels like it's romantic to me, but also like they want to get something locked down with you, but then they may not have a lot to offer in it. Okay, so it's like, be careful in business when dealing with, I had something similar for someone earlier. When people want to like talk, let's go, we could do this, we could do that, we could do this, we could do that. Business owners, I think we're all the same in that we're creative, we're innovative. We're always on to the next thing. It's fun to talk with people where your wheels are turning. It's another thing to be talking like you're actually going to build something together without a contract. Okay. And know those boundary lines, know those lines. Okay. And keep them set. So it's like, if we're going to be talking about high engagement with something business related, creation, any type of endeavor where there should be pay cuts going different ways, ideas that are being shared. We expect reciprocity and balance here. That's where things start to get a little weird here. And I'm not sure exactly what this person is looking for. I do think this person is attracted to you, but I do think they want to sort of bring you in, or come and see you, or like spend time with you, or have deeper conversations with you, and then maybe inconsistent in what happens after. It almost reminds me of an ego stroke, an ego boost. So yeah, it's okay to engage, just engage with imbalance. You know, I always say that in relationships, right? You probably heard this a million times. I know I'm like a broken record, but it's like a ping pong game. They hit the ball over, you hit the ball back. They hit the ball over, you hit the ball back. If it goes off the table on their side, you don't yell for them to pick it up. You don't go get another ball and you don't wait. Okay, you move on. That's all. All right, Anna Pekka. Thank you, CJG. Anna Pekka says, when do you see someone of value entering my life romantically? Anna Pekka. Okay. Someone of value. It feels like you have some work to do. You can't have it. Okay. Here's a good way to say this. You can't have it until you've turned the light off on the past. So I see a literal light bulb with one of those strings hanging from it. And you have not processed everything from your past engagements. So this would be old patterns of thought. This would be old relational styles. This would be the literal things that occurred in relationships, in specifically in areas where you may have over-centered, like you centered another human instead of yourself. Like you haven't done enough with any of that. The light is still on, which means more work to do. Okay. So until we can process all of this and you can turn that light off, we're not able. You have to be in alignment. I put out a video the other day on money. It was on money. And when I stopped dating, like my money and my partnerships and everything, my creativity blew up and like everything got right in my life, right? Things I had been manifesting that I couldn't have as soon as I stopped dating and I joined 4B, like everything hit like all at once. I didn't know that was the block in my life, but this is similar to that. You can go back and watch those videos. It will apply here, but it's basically like this. What you're asking for is a human. Hello. Okay. What I was asking for was money. So you want a human that you can relate to, that you can build with. And in order to have that, you have to be in alignment with that. That means you can't self-sacrifice. You can't center them. You have to know how to center yourself. You have to be in alignment with the laws of the universe, which is, you know, you hold yourself accountable, you take responsibility, you force other people to bring a high vibration, okay, into your life, or you cut them off. You haven't proven to the universe yet that you know how to do that. You have proven almost 3/4 of the way through that you understand it mentally, but that isn't enough. So the universe waits until you understand it like 150%, you know, and then it becomes, let's put her through a testing phase, and you get tested over and over and over again to see if, when you are tested with a false product, a false human, you buy it, you feed into it, you abandon everything you say you knew, right? And you are then proving you are either incapable of walking out this lesson, or you cut them off, you block them, you say, no, I know what I'm worth. And then you prove to the universe that you are not only able to talk about what you've learned, but you're able to walk it out. That's when you're in alignment. And that's when the benefits can start to come in, whatever they are. Okay. And I think this is determined by how fast or slow you go, because this string on the light switch is up to you to pull. This isn't, it's not a fixed timeline. Okay. But I do see someone coming in. I think when you're done with this work, I see this person coming in who seems to be very serious in business, something about the Mediterranean, Greece, travel, investments, boats, something about investments. Now, a boat can be a symbol for marriage, monogamy, cohabitation, long-term commitment, or it can mean boats. This person likes boats. You guys go on boats, okay, and things like this. But yeah, this person has a lot of money. They don't see their money really, though, as something to save. They see it as something to invest. So it's constantly like, I'm putting it into something else. I'm putting it into something else. I'm putting it into something else. Well, if you don't want them, I'll take them. I like this. I mean, I think this is great for you. I think it's a lot of fun. I don't think you're in it for the money. But I do think that you are in it for the companionship, the compatibility, and the experiences, because you also seem to be quite stable at that point in your life where you're like, I won't waste a minute of my life I would rather be home with a cup of tea, enjoying, romanticizing, being with myself than to waste a moment doing something with, someone who's not sincere. There's a lot of authenticity here. It's very powerful. Good for you. Exciting. CJG121 said, thank you, Ivy. I hope you and Ezzy have a great night. We will. She's taking a bath. Yeah. CGG said she loves you. Have a good night. Is that good? Aw, thank you. Yeah, well, we sat around many hours this morning. It was too cold to go outside. She probably loved to go outside tonight, but it's been real windy. We'll see. We are going to move on. Do we have any more? See people asking where they are on the list. Okay, I think we're just kind of organizing here. Can we also say thank you to Diana? She does an amazing job. She has been working with us now for about a year from Dubai. Lots going on. She's also a student. She's a busy girl. She does a great job. And the timestamps have really been helpful too. Okay, we also have, do we have, oh, are we ready with the next one, Diana? How did you know I was gonna, it's like she and I are like telepathic at this point. I was just gonna say Monday, March 30th, I have a couple shows coming up that I would like to add to the 2026 show lineup if you guys give it really high engagement. So some test shows coming up. Monday, March 30th is my dream analysis show. I love doing dream interpretation. So much fun. Okay, so if you guys want to tune in for that, mark your calendars. Again, it's Monday, March 30th, dream analysis show. We also have a test show coming up Wednesday, April 8th, called Something Unexpected is Coming Your Way. I'm going to tell you what it is and when. And then we have What's Going On with Your Money, Honey. This is on finances, career, and investments. This is going to be April 16th. Yeah, so you guys tune in for that. And do we have the next one? Oh, are you? Yeah, so I'll be back Wednesday. I'll be back, yeah, the day after tomorrow. I'll be back Wednesday for Are You a Psychic, a Medium, or an Empath? You guys love that show. I added it to the 2026 show lineup. I love it too. And if you have questions about what intuitive abilities you have going on, I'm going to help you to connect. Is it psychic? Is it mediumistic? Is it empathic? Sometimes they come through randomly or simultaneously, and it can be overwhelming and seem, just it's really confusing. They really are three separate things. You can also, if you want to know what abilities you have going on, but you prefer to do that privately, you can go onto my website, Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com, and you can click on Intuitive Ability Assessment. Are we at time or? Okay, we're going to have to, we're going to have to kind of wrap up here. If people don't understand, you got to post your questions, because I am ready to wrap up. Just a reminder too that I do work internationally, so there should be something in the schedule for everyone. But if you are for example, you're in the Middle East, maybe our calendars really aren't matching up well, you can always get a video reading. So if you want to book a party, I do corporate events and all the things, a psychic fair or a reading or healing with me, you can go onto my website, Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com, get whatever kind of reading works for you. Mindy Sullivan, I would like insight for my current relationship with Justin, whether this is going to have higher commitment. Okay. Will Mindy Sullivan and Justin have a higher level of commitment? I think it could, but I don't think it's to your satisfaction. So I would be very careful. Justin seems to be willing to commit to more if you're asking for it, if you're pushing for it, if you're overreaching, if you are trying to get it. It sends a message that you would be willing to do whatever it takes to hold on to it when you enter into it like that. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. The energy you want to be putting out with him is, I will only be putting into this relationship the amount that you're already putting into it. Okay? So it's an equal balance. I think that he may enter into it in a more committed way. He would enter into this commitment also with an attitude of entitlement and privilege, meaning he thinks he has just graced you with his presence. He really does. He really believes that just by giving you the commitment, he's given you gold when he's given you nothing. Okay. It's like, what did you give me? What exactly comes with this? He doesn't have to analyze that. He doesn't have to think about that. It's just his belief. And he has a little bit of like, you can't change his beliefs. I'm hearing like a bull in a china shop too, or I don't know, he may have Taurus in his chart. It's like, this is the truth. This is what I believe. And it's like, hello, you've got a million other examples of what the truth actually is here, but it's like, don't see any of those, because you believe what you want to believe. So there's something about this that feels very one-sided, to say the least. But to answer your question, is it possible? Yes. Is it done in a healthy manner? I don't think so. And I think that your smartest approach, your best approach to it is just to sort of sit back and, make him prove for, a really long period of time. They say that some new research came out and it says that in relationships between men and women, at 6 months, the first mask comes off. At a year and a half, the second mask comes off. And does anyone know when the third mask actually comes off? 3 years, 3.5 in a lot of cases. Okay, so there's a long wait. There's a long period of earning it, proving, showing me patterns without disruption, actual patterns of clarity, communication, investment. Yeah, we got a long ways to go here, because for however long you've known this person, it doesn't feel like, very long. We have not seen consistency. So kind of starting from day one, you know what I mean? And you just sit back and receive that, because what you bring into the relationship is a lot of consistency. Like, you're actually very consistent, so you should be getting that back before you would agree to anything. I do think this person may also be more compelled to try to lock things down with you when they think you're leaving, which I also don't care for. Okay, so just be mindful. Mindy is that who I'm reading? Yeah, Mindy. She's just giving feedback already. She said, yes, that is how it feels. But of course, I would prefer if it comes from him. Well, we don't want it to just come from him. We want it to come from him in the right way. We want it to come from him, yes, but with the right intentions behind it and the ability to maintain it. 100%. I hear you. All right, good for you, sister. And she said, absolutely. That's what I've been doing lately. 100%. And you know what most people will do, and this is sort of a general message, if they see you pulling back and being like, prove it, prove it, prove it, because I've proven what I bring to the table. So prove it, prove it, prove it. They'll often just pout and run off and be like, I'm not going to be able to manipulate here, or she's not going to feel graced with my presence, or she doesn't understand what a prince I am, what a king I am. She doesn't understand, and that entitlement comes out, and it's like, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Toodalooski then. So we'll see. But I kind of bank on that, honestly. Right? Like, being present is the commitment to him. Yeah. Like, you breathing next to him is like gold. Okay. And he should recognize it. It's not the other way around. She said that makes so much sense. We just hit 3 years and are in our early 40s. So, and because you haven't seen the consistency will have to be there. And that starts at day one. Yep. 3 years to 3.5 years. The new research says that's when women see who a man really is, because he can't keep the mask on typically beyond 3.5 years. And that's the third mask that comes off. And this is incredibly accurate. So, does it make them evil? No, everyone has a mask. When we start dating people, I mean, they used to say it 3 months. the mask for both people, you know, starts to slip because the pheromones and the hormones and all the chemicals are reducing and you start to see clearly. But this is something very, very different. Okay, this is based on their programming within the patriarchy, and it's quite dangerous, and we should be taking it very seriously. Thank you so much for the hearts on TikTok. Mindy said, that all resonates so much. Exactly, in caps. Thank you. You're so welcome, sister. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Is that it? We are at time. All right, you guys, again, if you need to book a party, a psychic there, a reading or a healing with me, I do work internationally. Super simple self-booking system. Go to Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com. I will see you guys back here on Wednesday for Are You a Psychic, a Medium, or an Empath, where I tell you what intuitive intelligence you have and how to use it. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. See you next time.